Hello my friends and welcome to another episode of Inside Out Electronics, and today we got something cool in the mail. So I really like what I got in this mail, and I'm gonna share it with you. I think it's pretty cool. So let's take a look. I'm not gonna talk too long. So this is I2C servo board. Yeah. So I was really impressed when I found this on a what's the website, Tindy, and I contacted the guy behind it and asked him if I can give it a try, because this is something I was working on myself. Here's the video, and this guy from Statorworks, it went way further than me. He created his own board which replaces the servo board for this way smarter board. So without talking too much, let's talk about technical applications. So this board can take up to from 4.5 to 9 volt. It can drive 1.5 amp current. It's cool. What's the range? So for example, can it work at 9 volt with 1.5 amps? Yeah, that's not bad. Fit standard 40 millimeter servo, and it has dimension of 17 by 20 millimeters, 4-pin connector, which obviously for a power, ground, and SDA SCL for I2C protocol or I2C bus. I2C interface is 3.3 volt. Something very important here is 3.3 volt. It's not gonna work with your 5 volt devices. So it has programmable I2C address, multiple servo on bus, control power, speed, ramp up time, and ramp profile. That's really cool too. Real actual position, velocity, and power. Programmable position sequence, run without controller. Yeah, this is awesome actually, way ahead of my stuff. Optional CRCA checksum on I2C read and write, and there is a GitHub with all his work. So this looks like open source. So there is some more information over here, and how to cascade the servos, how to install the board in your servo, and there is a register space. So this look like a packet, and this is your packet definition. So each individual bytes will be responsible for different values you can send and receive from the servo. This is really awesome. So now let's quit talking about a theory. Let's see what we have here in a little box. So this servo is already customized for me, so I don't have to do any customization, but we're still gonna take a look how it's installed or all here. So this is regular 40 millimeters, I guess. This is how you call standard servo, and here is 4-point pins. Okay, so we have also two already, we have two plain boards, so just I'm ready to install into whatever servo I would like to. Yeah, we're gonna take those pretty close too, and each board, as I understand, comes with those leads. So you have 2 leads which goes into servo, and probably 2 leads to cascade. And there's also a little tiny board over here. I assume this is for cascading the those servos. So yeah, I have to think about how it's supposed to be work. There's a little few more wires in here, as I understand. Those are for the connecting the board inside the servo. So let's take those beautiful things out, and let's take a look and them a little bit closer. Look at this super duper tiny board. It's smaller than 25 cents. This is amazing. There's another one. I'm just not following why those boards have little dab of a paint over them, over the microcontroller, I assume. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay, I use my macro lens in order to take a look a bit closer on those two boards. So what we have here, we have microcontroller, I assume that's a bigger jobby. We have driver, It's obviously it's a DC motor driver, nothing else can be here. We have voltage regulator over here, few passives, and I assume this is diode. That's it. There are few unpopulated things, maybe for some options you can do. And this is open source hardware, and it says SW. I guess it's open source software, not hardware. Anyways, it's open source stuff. We can get into details because I don't know what exactly is open source. This design is open source, or the library is open source, or what's in this microcontroller is open source. I would like to also take a look what's on the other side. Other side is completely unpopulated, or it's one-sided load, surface mount. We have VPG, as I understand this is for the potentiometer, just to understand what's the position of the servo at a given time. TS1 is some test point of some sort, because over here we have a plus and minus polarities for the motor to drive the DC motor, and there is a case. You have to connect this to the case of the motor in order to reduce interferences from that. There is also sometimes it's just suggested also to install capacitor in between plus and minus, but looks like there is a capacitor over here. So some of my servos have also installed a separate capacitor right there on the motor leads, again to reduce some contacts, ringing, and interferences, because those motors, they are brushed DC motors, not brushless. Just attention, this is for the brushed DC motor servo. If you have brushless motor servo, this is not gonna work. It's completely different controller altogether. This is something, by the way, I can suggest to Statorworks to actually take a look at, because the brushless DC motors are way more efficient and way more powerful, but you know, this is way more simpler contraption over here. So let me take a look. What are those cheapies? I'll try to rub off the paint of this one. I'm not sure why it's painted over. Maybe Statorworks guys don't want to know us to know what's underneath. But I'm still gonna use an acetone and gonna rub it off. And if I ask them if it's okay, and if it's okay, I'm gonna publish it. If it's not, I am not gonna publish it, because I don't want to get into troubles. Alright, so let me do some little investigation to see what are those, and we continue from here. Alright guys, I took a liberty to rub off the paint. It's turned out to be just a nail polish, I think. Very easy, came off on this microcontroller, and it turned out to be very familiar friend to me. This is ATtiny A16. I was playing with different ATtiny, but I really familiar with that. Actually, my very first idea to do this device, a similar project, was actually using ATtiny, but I have ATtiny which is a little bit different, which is a little bit less powerful, and that was ATtiny with only 2 or 3 GPIOs. It was not enough for this purpose. This is a little bit more advanced device. So this is ATtiny at 116. There are 2 variations of them exist, so which one of these I do not know. It has only 128 bytes of EEPROM, but it has 512 bytes of RAM and 8 kilobytes of flash. And another cool thing about this particular device, which was different from the one I was trying to use, this one has 10-bit ADC with a whole bunch of internal voltages, which is cool. It has also internal oscillator, which I think the other one had too. So this is pretty nifty device for this particular purpose. And also we know that all programming code exists inside this device only in should fit only 8 kilobyte using this 8 kilobyte of flash. Really awesome, and looks like 10-bit is more than enough. 1024 different voltage reading to actually figure out the angle of the servo, because angle of the servo is still gonna be quite discrete. It's gonna be a 360 in the most and 180 in most of the cases. Most of the cases, and 360 in case you have continuous rotating servo. Yeah. So that's 124 readings, level of readings essentially, 10-bit ADC is enough. So let's take a look at the little dude over here. It was really hard to make out what it is, but I think it is DRV8877, which is low voltage H-bridge driver from Texas Instrument. Obviously, this is one of the good candidates for a H-bridge driver. Obviously, I was not even, my solution was completely different, so I was not trying to replace H-bridge driver, but this little dude will probably do the perfect job. It's capable of handling 1.8 amp of voltage, and I think it's even more capable than listed in official specs here. If I'm not mistaken, and I picked the right, and I figure out the right part, it's like 1.5 amp. This for safety. This little dude can handle 1.8 amp, 11 volt. But we're not gonna go there. Guys from Statorworks know what they're doing probably, and they decided to keep it this way. But it's not gonna. It's also very important to understand that this little voltage regulator may not be able to handle 11 volt. Maybe it's like 9 volts tops for him. So we also need to understand that this little dude is running at 3.3 volt. Sorry, this is voltage regulator makes 3.3 volt for this microcontroller, and this microcontroller is actually quite capable of running on different voltage ranges, like starting from 1.8 volt till all the way 5 or 5.5. I think this is all theory. We can talk about this guy, and I think I have to stop now. Let's stop about theory. Let's do some practice. Alright, my friends, okay, here I zoomed out, and now let's try to build and control this smart servo, this microcontroller over here. So I have SMD 20 Adafruit Trinket M0. So this is 3.3 volt logic little microcontroller. So this is gonna be awesome because this I2C bus on this smart servo runs at 3.3 volts, so we don't have to do much, except we would have to install pull-up resistors. I prepared over here two 2.2K as recommended over here pull-up resistors. We're gonna use them. Usually I do not have problem to actually using this board on a S2 bus without pull-up resistor, but let's try first how it is recommended over here, and then we will try without them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's not. It really depends on a different implementation. I don't even know 100% if this little guy has internal pull-up resistors on I2C bus. I don't think so, but I do not remember. So let's build it. I also prepare a whole bunch of these guys. Have my power bank over here. Okay, let's give it a shot. So for I2C, I'm gonna use those sort of wires. Memory serves me correctly. Yeah, those are SDA, SCL. Alright. Okay, for power, we're gonna use this guy. Make it orange. And we need also one for 3.3 volt. I'm gonna use another, okay, I'm gonna use yellow, and 3.3 volt we're gonna take from, just to make a pull up from over here. I'm gonna put 3.3 here. So look at this board runs on 3.3 volt, and obviously, okay, now we're gonna make connection from 3.3 volt. Let's see, say here, another one here, and those SCA, SDA, SCL gonna come. Okay, this board doesn't want to stay. Right here. And we also gonna use another two colors, two funky colors to connect our bus. So essentially we have pull-ups. Right, this is ground, this is plus 5 volt, which is connected to USB power. So it's gonna run 5 volt, and it's gonna run this is gonna be ground. Okay, so obviously ground goes to black. as it is as this over here. Black is ground, red is power. In this case it's 5 volt, but we can do 4.5 to 9. Alright, now I have to remember which one is what. So gray one is SDA, and over here SDA is white. So gray goes, which is green in this case, go to white. Yeah, it's not really cooperating, this connector right here. Okay, it's a bit kind of crude, but it's connected. So what I have programmed in this microcontroller is one of the samples which available over here on the GitHub. Yeah, over here on the GitHub. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. So GitHub is github.com Statorworks I2C servo. You just uncomment one of the examples you want to run, and it is just gonna work. Oh yeah, and one more thing you have to do is to program this 065 address into your, into your example, because it has different address, so make sure you put your right address. Okay, just let's connect power and see what's happened. Ta-da! So it just sweeps from 0 to 180, from 180 to 0, 0 from 180, 180 to 0. All this information goes through I2C bus. Easy peasy. Another beauty of all this is obviously not gonna show you much, because it's the same scenario as you are using any other servo. Obviously the people who knows I2C bus knows that you can cascade multiple servo on the same bus. So if you have a long wire coming from your microcontroller, it's just gonna be four wires. That's it. And then other servo gonna split over here and connect more servos, connect more servos, and connect more servos. This is the biggest advantage of this approach. In next video I'm planning to modify several servos, because now I have only one modified. I'm gonna modify 2 more of mine on my own servos with those microcontrollers that are available over here, and I'm gonna show you, for example, a gimbal based on I2C I2C smart servo from Statorworks. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap up here, and I really like this particular little board. And one important thing, it is not expensive. If you are into robotics and building some sort of automation things, electronic arms, robotics, even some little smart little trucks and things like that, which require you using servos to drive them, this is perfect for you, because you can use tiny microcontrollers with only like few or 4 GPIOs, or at least 2, and as long as it supports I2C, that's supposed to just work. You don't have to have these massive wires or some kind of I2C extenders. Alright, I hope I explained how good and useful this project for anyone who actually building a robots based on servo or any other servo controllable devices. If you want to pick up any of those for yourself, for your project, I'll share the link to Tindy. First of all, I want to also mention that I have no affiliation with the Statorworks. I just like the product and I decided to give it a try and review it. As far as I know, they mentioned that's going to be upcoming Kickstarter campaign. I will update links in my video if there is any Kickstarter campaign, because as far as I understand, these products are in some limited quantities, so if you are interested to try, please go ahead. I think I'm gonna be wrapping up for now. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.